This is the reality of trying to stream these last couple of weeks. Has it come back? I really wanted to look at 7,000 scores, but apparently it's not to be. It's been a long time, very long time since the last stream, but hopefully people haven't completely forgotten about me. Wouldn't blame you if you had. There's been a new release of OBS, so I'm a bit disorientated. OBS 28. Also, the face cam looks a bit. Oh, it's looking better now. It was looking really. Colors and shit were looking really bad. Okay, so what stage is this? Actually, let's try spread spectrum disabled. I'm having a bit of issue getting the bus up. So this is Team Cup 2022 Fire Strike GPU subtests only. And I'm just gonna quickly validate a file I just made, just in case there's some funny business. Okay, boot into OS and totally ignore my deletes. Why don't you? I guess this is my current best. Hello, two-way clipboard. Are you working? Yes. So since I don't have any sort of access to hardware bot, I mean there's UAT, but that doesn't have the latest comp entries on it. This is the best thing I can do, which is 1180, 1550, and then obviously just whatever driver, 4.95 on the CPU, 23619. So now, come on, sign me in. And motherboard, please let me to BIOS. Okay. So if anyone didn't know, the actual easy way, in my opinion, of uploading a score is through settings here, which I only discovered recently actually. And I don't have it on this PC, so I don't know why I'm trying to do that. Other PC. Because the URL for it is sort of hard to remember and stuff. I am actually hopeful that potentially, fingers crossed, people in Europe wake up and bring back HyperBot before the end of the stream, and I can actually look at Ryzen 7000 scores, because I haven't done that yet. So it's telling me there's a new system info. That's fine. I may as well download that. Okay, so let's use that two-way clipboard again. So this is the score I just had, which is at 1200 and 1550. This is on the block. So that I did all my other scores on the AIO, so no surprise that the GPU core is a bit better. Still not liking my efficiency. There's people out there with 28,000. Okay, let's load up our profile. I'm curious. How is everyone doing? It's been a long time. A lot has happened. Hi, Forks. You benching for Team Cup, I'm guessing. Okay, let's get our USB. It's here somewhere. These are the. Where's my other thing? It's over here. I did a cleanup, and what happens when you clean up is you can't find stuff. So, you know, never clean up your bench room. Basically, is the sort of lesson to be learned from that. Okay, this USB, it's a Samsung. I know Samsung is a big evil corporation, but that's the way to go with benching USBs. I had these. I think this is a 3. Oh, you know how it goes with all the different speeds and stuff, but I think this is a USB A, obviously, but it's like a unibody type thing, so you can't fuck it up. It's really rugged. USB A 3.1. It's at least the 20 gigabits per second version, if not the 40. What I used for benching before, it was these Kingston Data Travelers, and it's prone to failing, and the transfer speeds, even accounting for the fact that this was a USB 3.0, the transfer speeds and the reliability of ejecting it and all that stuff that's really important for benching was just not there. So go for the good stuff. Samsung unibody, it's the best. And then obviously what's really, really important too, and I still meet benchers, I want to say it's not daily, but I meet benchers way too fucking frequently who refuse to invest in a USB to SATA cable. It is absolutely elementary, and you need to have some sort of a backup solution, whether it's Macrium Reflect, Norton Ghost, or Acronis. Those are the 3 I know about. Okay, let's get our new system info going. Hi, people in chat. Hey, Zorok. First time chatter. Exaberries OC. You SATA to USB-C. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I won't judge anyone. But just to illustrate how rugged. Oh yeah, let's use this even though that's crap. So here's a USB-C to USB-A adapter. Just look at how, I mean, if you have a laptop that only has USB-Cs, which I think is a terrible investment, but if that's what you've got, then go for something like this. But there's just no comparison between how rugged this is and rugged this is. Same with like HDMI for my streaming cameras. I have full-size HDMIs and I have micro HDMIs and mini HDMIs, and the micro and minis are so much worse for ruggedness, and that's important. With both A, C on either end. Yeah, but then you're still gonna have a weird little cap on the USB-C to protect it from like falling off, right? You want this sort of unibody type thing, and I mean, there's a little bit. I'm not saying anyone in chat has fallen for this, but there's just a little bit of like misinformation, disinformation, confusion out there about USB-C and USB-A. But USB-A can do all the speeds USB-C can do, and vice versa. My old phone, for example, was USB-C 2.0, so it was really, really slow actually to transfer data off of it. And same thing can happen, you know, you can have a USB 4, USB-C, you can have, you know, there's just endless combinations. And okay, so we've got our middle timing. Sometimes this board drops the channel, so I'm just going to do a full run here just for the purposes of the audience, let's say. Well, that's where you went wrong, buying a Mac. I have, while the system info loads up, even though I got it in a bit of a tiff with them this time around because they sent me the wrong laptop and all sorts of stuff happened. ThinkPads are amazing. And this is the thing, but I've got obviously the AMD version. So you get 2 times USB 4.0 USB-C, full size HDMI. I think it's 2.0B or 2.1, like a pretty recent standard. Then power delivery and still USB 4A, headphone jack, obviously fan out, Kensington lock, and another A. So 2 C's and 2 A's and a HDMI is pretty damn sweet for a laptop, and it just paradoxically like beats a lot of really big. That's an 13-inch small bezel laptop, and that beats a lot of like the bigger laptops around. How's TC been going? So had a lot of shit going on, like in real life, so I haven't been doing much benching, and I've had basically this rig in some form or another set up on my bench rig for a long time, and a card died. This is what a 295X2 looks like. Dead. I don't know why it's dead. It just won't even output any display. If I put it in as a secondary card, it doesn't even detect. So not quite sure what's going on there. I have 2 other cards, so I can still run 4-way, so that's nice. So I had a dead card. I've had efficiency issues. I have to say too that I'm probably not using the right chips. So ideally I should be using my Golden FX 8350, but I don't want to risk golden chips on ambient, so I put in like a random FX 8150. I'm realizing it doesn't have the best IMC. It's a bit bitchy about like running high BCLK, running high hyperthreading frequency, running high CPU North Bridge. So that's making things difficult. I got to a certain point, I got to like 23.6 thousand points, and then it's been just basically bottleneck there. And I know a lot of people other people on like Warp 9 especially are at like 28,000 points. I don't think, I can't check it because Howerbot is down, but I don't think that they are on the same card as me, and I would imagine that the 295X2 would score worse than 2 separate 290Xs at the same clocks. But ooh, GT2 fail. Interesting. See how it doesn't even like tightening up the RAM. But still, like 4,000 point gap is really big. So I don't know what's going on there. What also contributed is Salty, who's in chat, kindly gave me some V biases with Titan timings. It took forever to actually flash them. I did manage to flash them, and then I scored worse. So, and you know, between swapping between 3 different cards, the rig issues, I've basically been working on this. Maybe I go. No, I don't want to mess with that. Actually, I'll just go back to what I had. I mean, it's not bad, but let's try this off in case it does anything. Yeah, so it's been a bit frustrating. I also somehow managed, this is clearly my own fault, but I somehow managed to run a clock limited stage all out. So the X265 DDR3, I think it's a 1080p stage, where you have to run the P67 chipset. So basically the best thing you can run is like a Maximus 4 Extreme non-Z with a 3770K in it. I sort of quickly ran that up on LN2, not realizing that it was actually limited to I think 4.5 gigahertz. So that's a bit unfortunate. So that will be the next stage I do. Yeah. Always exclamation rig. to get the thing I'm benching, and this is for Team Cup 2022. No AM5 benching, no way. Too rich for my money. Okay, let's go up in 25 megahertz steps and see how the scaling goes. Raptor Lake, cheese 3x, 4x. NVMe drive, but okay, let me show you the reason I don't do NVMe drives for benching. These are my benching drives, and I wish I had more. And I die a lot because I re-image them a lot, and that uses up the cells, the fucking SSDs a lot quickly. The, what are they called? The storage cells or whatever. You know the name for them. I pay like 20-30 Australian dollars per drive, and that also almost already seems like a lot. I'm not going to spend 50 for an NVMe drive, which I then can't handle like this because it's an actual like PCB. So restoring using this takes like, for XP it might take like 20-30 seconds. For 7 it might take 2 minutes. I'll probably be setting up the rig, like maybe moving around some cables and shit while I do that anyway. So I don't see how it, like it being faster really does anything. It's more the reliability. And an NVMe drive, you kind of have to like screw down to actually hook it up to something, right? Screw down or like clamp down or something. That's just all waste of time. $15 US. That's more or less the same price as these SSDs, but I mean, how many restores before it dies? And then like, I don't know, you know, if I wanted to do 2 restores at the same time, I have 2 of these, you know, how many restores can you do with NVMe? And I just, I don't know, it seems a bit overkill. Yeah, never can have. Yeah, Dead 295x2. Cheese. It's not cheese, it's skills. I'm even wearing my AMD shirt. Where's the logo? Over here. It's mirrored on my screen for Ryzen 7000 launch, but now there's no actual whatchamacallit, Hyperbot to check. I mean, Forks, if we can, links are allowed in chat, so if you can link that enclosure and it's like something that I can actually snap a drive into, you know, within 5 seconds basically, then I may actually be interested, at least for stuff like PC Mark where you need a good fast drive. That's a good question. I don't know what PCIe generation. Mamma mia. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's saying let me just look it up. Surely if I look up the board, it'll tell me. No, not motherboard DB. Fuck. Yeah, but okay, so it's easy to re-image, but what I'm saying is, what if I want to swap 10 NVMe drives into that enclosure in short succession? How easy is that? How is Zeus back down as well? I'm trying to bench over here, motherfuckers. Okay, let's try this thing, whatever it is. Yeah, apparently it only does PCI 2.0. Okay, so 1225 was a no-go, so now let's do 1600 memory at least. I went to great pains, no, I don't want to report the issue, to nicely sort of put the little heat pads under the block for the memory. So hopefully the chiller is set to 16 degrees. It's a 500 watt Halea, by the way, in case anyone's interested. No, it's not about booting Windows off of it. Like, here in front of me is a laptop. Here next to me is a bench rig. I just want to image shit here and bench shit here. That's all I do is fuck a drive into this computer somehow using USB, fuck an image onto it, eject it, and attach it to this rig, and then boot on there. Okay? It's not rocket science. And that's where this thing is just unbeatable from what I can tell. I mean, I'm always open to new suggestions, but yeah. And that's the other part of it, right? Like, so it might be harder to let's say you were going to use NVMEs for benching. It's harder to attach the NVMe to your secondary rig, let's say, that you're doing the imaging on. And then it's harder to put it into the bench rig as well, because your average benching board doesn't yet have these little clamp thingies. You probably have to screw in that really flat little with the riser and all that. That's so much harder than just a SATA 3 cable. Okay, so now 1200, 1600. Come on, Harabot. Come back, please. Gateway timeout. Yeah, exactly. I mean, more and more now. I suppose we could. GT1 fail. What the fuck? I think I'll be, the way things are going, I'll be flashing another BIOS pretty soon. Okay, let's try 1575. And let's do a full run. So cards. Yeah, it seems to have set. Hey, Rani. Exclamation rig. Don't you recognize it? Dual 8 pins. Long ass PCB. No HDMI out. Just a mini display port and DVI. Surely you recognize that as a 295X2. Okay, let's do full run. I'll monitor it on the side. What about the fact, I don't think we talked about this ever. Alright, let's just look at B650. I mean, I don't really give a shit. Go away, advertising. Is there not a... Did that fail again? Okay, I think we need a reboot. Press release, la di da di da da. What's a good... I just want pictures of boards. None of this text nonsense. Hey, maybe this. See, fuck off. Why is it so low res? I don't get it. Yeah, here you'd be in trouble because you have to take a heatsink off here, right, for the M.2. What's this? Also gigabytes. Also need to take a heatsink off. Heatsink. Yeah, it's just so much work. I mean, you're talking to a guy who, on the average day, like if I'm testing CPU, I don't even put an air cooler on. I just put a pot, sit a pot on top with no paste. That's how little time I have for the peripheral work required for benching. I have all the time in the world. I mean, I don't. I have a life, but relatively speaking, I have all the time in the world for actual benching. It's just that the peripheral stuff just pisses me off to no end, basically, is the long and the short of it. Hey, Randy, by the way, so what are you going for? 7,000 or 13th gen for your next rig that you're planning to build? Old girl. Well, it's for a comp, so not benching it for no reason. And I'm still not a big fan of the LGA sockets. Yeah, always knew you were an Intel fanboy. So what's this now? This is a Strix, and still you don't have. What you need is what's on the Tachyon, you know. Are there pics of this? Why is it not fucking running? Or maybe I just. That's right. I took the heatsink off. I thought. Okay. Yep. Okay, it's all shit. Basically, is the summary of this. Okay, let's just make sure we can actually run the other clocks that we had earlier. Probably. Let's look at the X, just for completeness. Let's look at the X670s as well. Not enough pictures. I can actually just look at my local retailer at this point for those boards. Okay, let's do a full run, and no thanks to that. I mean, what's happening with the Unify? Are MSI doing a B650 Unify? Because I didn't hear of an X670 Unify. Okay, 24 different boards. That should do us. So here's Aussie pricing, guys. Beware of sticker shock. $2,500 for the Godlike. Hell yeah, hell to the yes. And even on the Godlike, even though it's EATX, you still don't get a clean M.2 slot to plug your thing into, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the bead-eyed bundles, I heard about that. Okay, so no go there. What about the cheapest board? What'll that do? The Zeus having the cheapest boards. That board, that's new. Oh, yes! We got a couple of naked M.2s. Two different sizes, which is interesting. What's this long size is more of a server form factor, right? You really want this hole. That's the right hole to use, yeah? This one is for the normal size at M.2s. So but then my question would be, you know, which one has the full speed, you know, PCIe 5.0? Is it the one under the heatsink? Because then that's sort of useless, because if these naked ones are the ones that are sort of sharing with some PCIe slots, then fuck that. Yeah, that's the joke, Randy. That's the joke. Newegg are trying to get rid of something, and they're bundling the wrong RAM with the wrong boards and hoping the customers don't notice, basically. I mean, that's a nice board though. I mean, it isn't. I'd never buy it, but you know, at least it's got that one feature going for it. There's still no ITX, is there? Okay, what's the cheapest with 10 gig LAN? fuck, nothing under 1,000. It's not great. Wow, 5 M.2s, that's insane. So the hero has 5 M.2s. What the actual fuck? Let's try to find them. So I just had a result 23.6. Where's my turbo V? Okay, for shits and giggles, I'm gonna try half a multi higher on the CPU. See what that does. Probably crashes it. That's okay, people. There's new cards. Everything's coming out. 2 generations of CPU, 2 generations of GPU. If you're not interested in one of the generations of CPU, that means you still have 2 graphics card vendors to pick from, and you can still go Raptor Lake, and no one will judge you for that. Yeah, let's do a nice little full run. Harrowbot back yet? Okay, so the Crosshair Extreme. I mean, this. Wow, that didn't even run. Fuck you. Okay, let's give it 1.55. So is that 2 M.2s under here? I don't get it. There's nothing on the back, surely. I mean, if it's really 5, is there one here? That looks like a screw. So is there one here? But then again, it looks like it's attached here, so I'm confused. 1 here, 1, 2 here. That's 3. Maybe 1 sort of up here and 1 here, or maybe nothing here. Maybe this is literally just a type of like fake out basically, and there's like 2, 2, 1, 1 rear. I don't see. Come on, Crosshair X670 Hero. So that didn't work either. Gallery, accept your goddamn cookies. Oh, they're cheating and telling you this fucking riser card is where you put your M.2s. I hate when they do that. See, if they're gonna say that, then can you just say, hey, this board has 17 NICs, because if you put a network card in every slot, or every PCIe slot, you have 17 network cards. Like, I just don't get it. And the other aspect of all this is, I don't run. I mean, I run an MATX streaming rig, so I'm not the right person to. And I'm about to go down to 0 M.2s because I now put my stream recordings on like a network location, like a NAS. So until recently, I'm just gonna shut down the rig, by the way, and just take an image of this OS because it's starting to give me a few little boot troubles, and I've killed an OS before, and yeah, the image I have is a bit older and it's missing a few little utilities. So yeah, my streaming rig is one 240 gig regular SATA, and then I currently still have a half terabyte M.2, like a cheapo one, but that's going into my new ITX build. That's going to be a router, so I'll have no M.2s in there. But I can appreciate people who are like daily enthusiasts would want an M.2, but wouldn't you at the very most want 2 M.2s? Like, what? I don't think, considering how fast PCI Express 4.0 and 5.0 like M.2s are, what would be the benefit of multiple drives? I mean, maybe some sort of in system backup where you have like just a mirroring in place or something, but RAID isn't really a thing, right? So like even two M.2s, I struggle. Like, you know, people constantly talk about wanting to have a big drive for their Steam library, which for me that would still be like maybe an 8 terabyte or a 10 terabyte spinning disk. Or you can just shell out and have one big M.2, but like two M.2s is already a struggle. 3, 4, and 5, I'm really struggling. Like, what do people do with them? 7 NVMe. But I mean, what do you do with them? So, anyway, where was all this going? What I'm really interested in, see, what I would like instead is a lot more LAN. Like, it's nice. See, none of them have 5 gig, which, like, 10 gig is basically the one that has sort of downwards compatibility challenges with the other standards and requires more expensive or newer, maybe not more expensive these days, but a newer category of cabling and stuff. So the LAN standards that are interesting, like gigabit and Ethernet, is just, you know, you could put that on a phone nowadays probably, because, well, you wouldn't, but it's just so ubiquitous. So it's everywhere is what I'm trying to say. So the LAN standards that are interesting, in my opinion, are 2.5 gig and 5 gig, because you can still use the same. Yeah, 2.5 is the de facto norm, but why not? Like, first of all, I think dual LAN is interesting on like a high-end board. Certainly, where boards like this, where it's like $600-700. Oh God, that PSU is just so noisy. That's a whole other thing. So I had to put. I was suspecting some issues, so I have a Corsair HX 1050 in the bench table, and I was running both the card and the CPU off of it, and I was seeing some black screening and stuff, so I pulled out an AX 1500 as a secondary. But when that's being run as a secondary, for whatever reason, it spins the fan all the time. I don't know if this unit is defective, but I have an HX 1200 that just literally shorts out my entire house if I just flip the switch on it. And otherwise, I only have like 600 watt no name PSUs. So if I'm running dual PSU, this is the only setup I can do. I could, I suppose, swap the 1500 in to the main rig in the hope that it doesn't do constant fan spinning. But this is what I was able to just cobble together earlier. And it's just really loud, combined with the chiller that's running all the time. I should probably set it to lower temp. So yeah, dual LAN, I reckon these days, like 10 gigabit and a 5, 10 and 5, or at the very least 5 and a 2.5 would be the way to go. So how many boards do we actually hit? So we have 24 boards, and 22 of the 24 have 2.5 gigs, so that's nice. I'm actually imaging, yes I am. And then none have 5, which is concerning, and only 4 have 10. So what am I actually interested in? Let's try the Aorus Extreme. How do they break it down? And are they labeled? I like labeling. I don't want to have to look at a motherboard manual to figure out which port is which speed. Okay, so we've got where our 10 is labeled. Is that right? Oh, it's only single LAN though. That's really weak sauce. I'm sorry to say, but that's just terrible. All right. That's the image done. Was that too long, Forks? Probably didn't even run the whole way. Took a while for me to realize I hadn't started the image yet. Okay. Turn on the PSU again. Okay, so that's like for $1,000 board, that's just really, really bad. can the Ace do better? We want dual, like, fill up manufacturers, like board manufacturers, fill up your fucking IO. I just want to see, first of all, I don't want an IO shield. I want integrated like on this one, and I want the entire fucking thing to be full. Why is it a single 10 gig? This sideways, I think I need to clear CMOS. Sideways USB-C positioning is terrible. 3 USB-C is nice. 7, I think these days you can probably do what Gigabyte do and condense down the audio section into one stack. That gives you some more space. I guess people like Wi-Fi on their desktops. Yeah, make this vertical. Keep these buttons. You can easily fit another LAN here and another 2 USBs. Well, I mean, there's a lot of USB-A here already. Put a PS2 in there. Really impress me. That's that's the actual answer. Yeah, it's enough USB, but it's not enough LAN. So are we in some sort of really weird situation where every 10 gig board doesn't have dual LAN? Because that's just shit. No, not serial. Here we go. Thank you, Zeus. Dual LAN. 2.5 and 10 is nice. I mean, 10 and 5 will be like, I appreciate that 210 is probably expensive, but 10 and 2.5, that's really nice. That's really nice. Still, I mean, what's that? The Hero? No, that's the Extreme. What does the Godlike do? Probably something retarded. Can I say retarded? I think that's not an allowed term anymore these days. Something suboptimal. Let's see. So banned. Yeah, banned from my own channel. The pressures. Oh, 2.5 and 10. Very nice. Yeah, that's passable. My issue is, you know, with how much these boards cost, they should all be like, we should expect absolute perfection. You know, Wi-Fi 6E, absolute must. Dual LAN, 10 and 5, probably absolute must. And none of them have it, you know. And then, okay, people think PS2. I guess what gets me is, for keyboards, it's not just a benching thing with the drivers, but for keyboards. And is there such a thing as N key rollover for mice? I guess there is with all the macros, but it's, I don't know what that situation is. But in terms of keyboards, you want N key rollover, and the only way you can really truly get it, correct me if I'm wrong, is PS2, to my knowledge. Oh yeah, let's do 10 gigahertz steps. Full run, why not? But who uses but that's, I'm not saying that a lot of people use it. I mean, it's the same with anything, right? Like, you could be like, well, which set of users use dual LAN, 4 USB-Cs, and, you know, 8 USB-As and Wi-Fi, and press the buttons and use the audio? Nobody. But the point is, you'd rather have it and not use it than not have it and want to have it, you know. And key can be done with an IC on the keyboard. I didn't know that, but I would still argue you don't want to spend extra on your keyboard because of that. You just want, I mean, PS2, what's the cost of PS2 on a motherboard? $3 US or something? Like, it's laughable. Right. Let's try one more thing. Let's try, so that crashed. So 1210 also crashed. I want to try a lot more expensive, I can imagine, because, and wouldn't it add latency and stuff as well? Don't you just want native N key? Like, dual LAN is just nice. Like, you can do all sorts of stuff. Like, let's say you, I don't know, like so a lot more people. It's not a lot of people, but a lot more people than you think do dual ISP at home for resiliency. And like a really nice clean way of doing dual ISP is dual LAN, like wired LAN. I suppose you can do one Wi-Fi, one wired, but I don't know, that it just doesn't excite me the same way as dual ISP via wire does for me. Well, that's just me. That's just me. Ignore me. 812.8. I still want to. Ooh, that's really high. Ooh, it's C5 50. Okay, no surprise that didn't work. Yeah, look, you can pick apart every single thing that I'm saying, right? Like it's like, oh, why have any I/O on a motherboard at all, right? The only thing you truly need on a motherboard, you're gonna have a dedicated GPU. You can add Wi-Fi cards if you want. The only thing you truly need, you can add a USB hub, right? The only thing you truly need on a motherboard is one USB-A port. That's it. Everything else can be added, worked around, done better via something else. But the point is, these are premium boards, you know? Like I'm all about if did I just save over my profile? Fuck. Man, it wasn't that hard to replicate. But the only thing you truly need is that. I mean, but I would argue. I mean, onboard audio is really good these days. Onboard audio is really good, but you could certainly argue for onboard audio to be removed. So many people use USB headsets now and don't have speakers. There's literally an argument to be made for everything to be removed there. Or you could, by the same token, you'd be like, well, we've got Wi-Fi 6E. It's as fast as wired Ethernet. Get rid of the NICs totally. But this is premium, you know? If it's a $200 board, yeah, totally, just strip the fuck out of it. But yeah, optical audio, exactly. That is really rare for people to use onboard optical audio. Like, don't tell me that's something that people need, but you know. Okay, let's concentrate on rebuilding my little profile here. 105 memory frequency was 125. Memory frequency was this one. CPU North Bridge. I guess try that. HT top, and then DRAM 1.85. CPU 1.5, 1.4 on CPU North Bridge, and then just make sure to load the profile. I think that's okay. And then what I also did, which I should check, is I disabled 4 cores, but I think AHCI is fine. Just disable some crap. Disable the LAN because we don't need it, right? Nah, it's not scaling much with core voltage anyway, Salty. It's not doing. It's CPU bottleneck basically. Yeah, so there's for audio, right? I mean, not that I'm a massive desktop user, so okay, safety profile. But for audio, I would imagine. Okay, disable that. Just reboot. You know, there's really good DACs. There's really good USB headsets that just have the entire audio infrastructure built into them. I for example use an audio interface, which is pretty much let me go into BIOS, you piece of shit. I use an audio interface that has a DAC built into it. And then the people who really connect an active set of speakers directly to motherboard audio, they use the analog outs, right? I would imagine. Not that I know, but I would imagine that would be the case. Okay, I'm just curious to see. You use analog outs, okay. Ooh, are we posting 2700? Or is it gonna be a hang? It looks like a hang. Got sort of close though. Load and safe are too close to each other on this bias. Okay, so we do 2666 kind of. So I mean this back panel. Why am I now getting 50? How is it closer to posting at 2700 than it is at 2650? So I tried 2666. Let's try like 2600 flat. FN3, no such thing. FM2 plus maybe. It's giving me 50 again. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Still no harbor bot. I'm just gonna get ready to flash the card. Actually, what I will do is I'll go newer system info just out of curiosity, just in case it runs faster or whatever. What does that mean? Oh, that certainly needs to be disabled. That's on. No, everything's on. No, I don't want an automatic repair. It's 3 attempts and then it tells you restart and then it works magically, right? Isn't that how it usually goes? I'm glad I imaged my drive. Actually, what a rainy day it is out there. Otherwise, I'd be out like hiking or something, but 14 degrees, 97% precipitation, 4 p.m. Come on, OS. Just come back. Come back to me, please. Okay. So the thing with Windows 10 for benching purposes is it just likes to have the BIOS cleared sometimes. You know, it'll run these settings in this profile if the OS were in a clean state, but because the previous thing that happened was an unclean shutdown, the act of running Windows recovery basically makes it less stable somehow. So if I now boot once and then reboot, it should be fine. I mean, I could also reimage it, but yeah, 10 definitely nukes itself a lot, but it also has different behavior. Like, see now, funnily enough, this screen that says you're kind of fucked, we couldn't recover, is the screen that tells you that everything is fine because you just need to restart and then everything will be fine. So yeah, very counterintuitive, to say the least. Yep. And now we get signal. Yeah, I like it when my predictions pan out. Okay, so just get our little sysinfo going. Dum-de-dum-de-dum-dum-dum. Install. Restart, apply BIOS profile, do one run, see the score, make sure everything's like still 22.6K or so, DDU, flash both VBIOSes, reinstall the driver, and then run is the plan. Yeah, it is going to be like that in the next couple of days, The Rock. Unfortunately. This is supposed to be our spring, guys. 14 degrees. It's supposed to be our spring. I haven't streamed in so long. I actually managed to completely skip September. I don't think I streamed in August, and then there was September, and I didn't stream once. Ah, we've got Kikone on the stream. Yay as well. A few people around. Gonna stream more iGPU Firestrike? No, I wasted enough LN2 on that. Someone always, so you know, there's an OCN .NET Discord, and someone scared the shit out of me saying that the 12700K has a different iGPU to the 12900, even though we had assumed. So mobile is banned, it's DDR5 only, which means older leg only, because AM5 is not part of the comp and has shit iGPUs anyway, right? So it's older leg only, and you need 3 scores. So if there were a different iGPU in the 12700, it would be 12900, 12700, and the 12400 non-F. But since the K SKUs all have the same iGPU, it'll be K SKUs, 12400, and my G7400 score. Yeah, so good that it's doing some sort of good. I mean, it's a crap score, I know, but it was done on stream. There's basically a penalty. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate to say this on stream, but it's absolutely true that 3 hours worth of benching on stream will not yield the same results as 3 hours of benching off stream. It just, there's a different focus and all that. So yeah, I'll have Ellen to day after tomorrow. I may stream. What's a nice safe thing to stream? If I do find the motivation to run this with CPU cold, I would certainly stream this. Let's just go back to our nifty little list here. Here's my priority. It's not an 980X, it's a Venom. Oh, let's just call it a 980B. So I think I've subbed that on cold. I've subbed this on cold. I'm pretty much done with this stage. Yeah, DNEB on cold is not a great. I mean, I'm not gonna. I might stream this ambient, but I'll have LN2 around. So yeah, the i5 Vantage CPU. I just got a 10600 KF in, so that might be a good stream. I haven't done a lot of 10 series benching at all. Let's just do, okay, let's actually check that we actually have the new sys info. We do. Hardware monitoring is disabled, which is what we want. Let's do a run. 13th gen valid. I mean, in a couple of months time, maybe not this week. He's still not back, Harborbot. Let's check how up to date UAT is. I mean, the rankings are correct. This is sort of pointless. I guess we can look at like old-ish scores for Team Cup while we're. Why did that fail? What am I missing? Why is it failing? I'll have to reset clocks and actually let's just double check our driver settings. Yeah, but it's releasing in 2 weeks. Okay, I only have 24 hours in a week. I'm a shift worker. I work weekends. This is the first stream in 6 weeks. I'm not gonna stream it next week, which is actually a good opportunity. Like that, I may stream something. So then there's the launch and the end of Team Cup, which I won't stream because I'll be in a mad rush to finish. So that's the next 2 weeks already totally accounted for. I may still get Ryzen. You know what I mean, it doesn't take a long like a lot of time to like it doesn't take many things to happen for the next stream, like the stream after the next stream to be 2 months away or like a month and a half away. Okay, free sync off. Let's okay. No, I don't want to tune. Clear in-game overlay. Turn this off. Overlay is off. That hurts performance. Let's just have a look in global again, just in case. Chill off. Enhanced sync off. Crossfire enabled. Frame pacing off. Now in 3D Mark itself, FreeSync. It's re-enabled FreeSync. Chill is off. Frame pacing disabled. Whoops. That's huge. So how can it be? That could be a big miss. It sort of told me that Crossfire was off for 3D Mark. I don't know if I believe it though. Let's go default. And I think the one, so it sort of auto detects both 3D Mark the launcher and 3D Mark the bench itself. But just to be safe, I'm gonna set Crossfire to default for both. And now I'll launch it and I'll do GTs only. And if the score goes up, flying to work. You FIFO, fly in, fly out. Test off is not allowed. We need a valid link. Salty. Well, I get days off like today. Today is a Wednesday and I have it off, so I can't complain too much. That might be... I'd laugh if I now suddenly had 28k. That'd be fun. Alright, well, stay safe in their minds. I'm sure you're well compensated though, so you know, pros and cons like everything. So 120 peakish. Why did it default to off though? That's weird. I'm not seeing massively bigger frames, but GT2 is heavier anyway, so I'll let it finish. Hardware monitoring does... I haven't seen it change the score, but it's annoying on many older generations of cards, especially because it makes the bench take a lot longer to start. So the spinning wheel at the start saying we're doing the system scan or whatever takes a lot longer if hardware monitoring is on. That's the reason I'm turning it off, just to make runs quicker. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it helps a bit, but okay, so 108 I think dips to like 60 or something is what I remember. 150, ooh. Oh, God. That's a new thing. I don't remember AMD cards defaulting to Crossfire off. This is looking, I mean, I haven't looked at the frames in a long time, but like 90 there at the end. Like I'm used to dips to like 70, I think, so this is looking quite good. 200 points. I mean, I'll take it. 300 points. That's not bad. I don't even know my clocks though. Are my default clocks? No. And will it? See, now the funny thing will be, will it clock higher because there's less load on the primary card? I don't know. I should probably save that result, but I'm greedy, so let's just try. Maybe take the chiller down a little bit. If it passes the start of GD1, I'll go and get a fresh glass of water and I'll be right back. I mean, I don't expect it to, but just so you know, what I'll also do is I'll now that I've been reminded of that whole problematic, I will test the different crossfire modes. So AF4 friendly. What's the opposite of AF4 again? Okay, that's looking rough. Okay, let's go. Marginal, eh? Let's reapply clocks. Yeah, ULPS is off. Okay. Let's note down this stuff. Default friendly. Come on, load the GUI. And I'll do a full run because I still, those couple of 100 points are more than I've gotten in about a week. So, all right. Be right back. I mean, I'm hoping it runs. This is back to 1200. It's running. How are the frames looking? Probably shit. So it's 7:30 a.m. Time for the developer to wake up in Germany and fix our beloved Harabot. Yeah, I mean, PCI 3.0 might be part of it. I don't own a saber tooth anymore. So the secondary PSU looked like it OCP'd, even though I have the two 8-pins on separate rails. So that's not great. And now, oh, we do have both channels of memory. Yeah, I don't know. It's a 1500 watt power supply. I should be able to do a single GPU on ambient. I hope that's a once off. I mean, it's 2 dies, but you know, a single card. Nothing died though, it seems like. Hello, system. You gonna boot? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the old boot at stock trick again. I mean, I'm just gonna double check, but I think that, I mean, of course they're on 2 different rails. Here goes nothing. A4 friendly. Frame pacing off, A4 friendly. Ah, well, I need to obviously apply my CPU OC memory. Maybe that's what Warp 9 are doing, is just use Sabertooth for every score. I wish I were able to check. This is what we're dealing with. Wettest year in history since 1858. And it's only October. Fuck. Fuck, that's so bad. .1 meters of rain so far this year. Shit's crazy. I don't see anything big here that would be causing it to have instability now. Come on. Boot. Yay. Let's do it. Let's get a run out. Right. I am gonna flash the V-bias. Well, first I'm gonna DDU, because otherwise you can't flash him. Really shit, Spit. Really shit. That's the summary. Where's my USB? See, I always have to adjust my laptop. I don't want it to be in the frame, so I shouldn't move it because... There you go. I like seeing the... It's especially nice with this shirt that the microphone is just totally blending in. I don't mind seeing the microphone in frame, but too OCD to see the top of the screen of the laptop. So M stands for... Will I put it on desktop? M stands for master, S for slave. I put the flash utility here. I'm just gonna be really lazy. But first I need to DDU. Come on, Howard. Ooh, is Howard bought back? No, that's UAT. League says can't reboot. Needs to wait for programmer to wake up, so that's not going to happen. Can we do like an audio, an oral description of what this launch scores were? What is it like? I was actually looking forward to just while nothing is happening on the bench rig except DDUing, I was looking forward to just looking at the scores. Like, what benches is it good in? I've heard it's good. Like Ryzen 7000 is good at Y-Crunch, GP Pi, but like what kind of clocks does it do and stuff? I can't check now, but I'm really curious. Like, is there some sort of do chips do full pod? Is there some sort of thing with the IO die like in previous generations where you have to stay into like in 1:1 mode between M clock and U clock and all that? Or what's the jig with Raphael? Is that the name of the code name? Does anyone remember? Has anyone looked at the not much going on here, looked at the scores at all? What else do I have to show? I bought some 939 boards, like I do a lot, very often. They weren't packaged very well, but I think all of this was like 30-40 US dollars. So, and I think this is an SLI, and this I can never tell them apart. I think this, let me see, are they the same board? Ooh, that other one is actually literally missing its bias chip. Hold on. Let's get back to that. I'm gonna initiate our flashing process. So basically, run as administrator. Go to C users. And then your user desktop, and then it'll be like AMD VB flash. I think just I is just cannot load driver. Well, that's inconvenient. I've not had that issue before. Let's try the Windows one just for argument's sake. Oh, that's right. Yeah. You need to install the flash driver for some reason. Install the driver. Oh, is it I? Okay. So now same jig again. Run as city C users. Can't wait to have the sound of that PSU out of my head. And I think it's I. So here we've got our Hawaii slave, makes sense, right? And then I always forget what the actual flashing instruction is, but it'll be here. P, yes, okay. File blah 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 to adapter blah blah blah. So it'll be, and then the name of the file, which in this case will be C6730 the master, so P, and then it'll be 0. You start at 0, so I'm now flashing the master, and it'll be the same, just the slave file, so P's P1 instead of 0, and the save file, and then a reboot, and then all should be good. Okay, back to these boards. I bought all of these as not working, by the way. So, potentially working. I'm going to call it an Ultra D. There's not a big difference between the... Oh, it's got the... here we go. One has... I'm going to try to point this out. One has the SLI badge up here. You see that? To the left of your screen. So this one is an SLI. And this one is an Ultra D. And pretty much... I know one is missing the bracket. Pretty much the same board. See that? But in this case, these particular examples, this one has a BIOS chip, this one does not, so would be a bit harder to get that one running. And to top it all off, here's an expert. Now it's missing a RAM clip, but that's no big deal. I could just use one of them from like another Ultra D or whatever. It doesn't really matter, you know, they're not really necessary. I will have to find CMOS batteries that have a good charge, because 939 LAN parties are famous for not posting unless they have a really strong CMOS battery, like a nice voltage on it. The RAM chip is in there, and you recognize it obviously through the different RAM orientation and the 8-pin instead of 4-pin. I don't know, there's probably other differences. I think the socket is oriented differently as well. So this is my second expert board, so it'll be really nice because I bought it as not working, but I think it looks in good nick physically, and I can literally just find a combo of CPU and memory that will work on my known working expert board, chuck them in here, see if it posts, use the same CMOS battery as well, and then if needs be, I can probably even lift the BIOS chip if there's a different BIOS on here that's giving me trouble, and then I think I'll get the expert working. Not so sure about the other two boards, but it's also not as critical. Okay, now let's just flash the slave. Cold bugs again on AM5. Can tell by the debug LEDs on the NF4. Can tell the difference between an SLI and an Ultra D. Well, you just look at the SLI badge. That's easier, right? Yeah, they like to have their caps replaced. These are, if they're working, they're like my 939 LAN parties number. It would probably be 7, 8, and 9, if not more. I have a whole box of them in my basement. They should probably be like in a fucking like humidity controlled environment or something, because we all know how quickly the caps go on them and stuff. For some reason the slave takes longer to flash than the master. Okay, so now we do a reboot, then we do a driver reinstall, then we apply CPU clocks, then we apply GPU clocks, then we do a run, and we probably find out that everything's the same as before and the flash was totally worthless, pointless. Your aim for dark? Which dark? RTLs. So we should have our new, I say new, or new old driver here. Okay, so no driver install, that's nice. Actually, yeah, we still need to extract. Extract takes pretty long on this old CPU architecture, but DDU does remove the extracted driver files, or else you could go to C/AMD and just install straight out of there, but no such luck. You're so you've got a Z690 Dark, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, Tachyon won't. I don't know what the story is with Dark. I mean, the correct batch of Apex is still the way to go, right? I thought on that platform. Are they? They've been pretty quiet about the new boards. Is it going to be a new Apex, or is it just the same setup? But you know, like considering the timing with Nvidia release and AMD release, it wouldn't surprise me if Z790 boards either came out late, or they just, some manufacturers for some SKUs just decided to skip. I mean, the benching boards will probably still come, but I mean, it's kind of a dead socket, right? Come on, extraction. Then that's gonna be it. I'm gonna, that's if I don't see any gains out of this bias, then I'm just putting up my, what is it, now I'm probably running a bit of a risk. I should have run a full run with the default crossfire, because I got a 22 point, I've got a 22.6 subbed, a 22.7k saved. I saw 22.86 or 9 rounded just now, but it was GT's only run. I hope I haven't fucked my efficiency. I should have. I mean, 200 points sounds ridiculous, but with what I've been seeing recently, I probably should have saved that. So for Hawaii, you'll see a 2022 driver release, but it's a security update only. It doesn't have any. So it's, I think, 22.61, and it got some people excited apparently, but it's you know, driver support was ended at 21.5.2. So Polaris and later, so RX 400, RX 500, Vega, RX 5000, RX 6000. Those are the 5 generations of GPUs that are basically supported ever since mid 2021. And the 2022 driver, I did try it. I saw it. I got a bit excited when I saw it. I thought they were doing performance improvements for the likes of Hawaii, you know, HD7000 and Fury cards, but turns out it was just a security fix only. And even though it's, I think AMD website designates it as being a WHQL release, as it stands, 3D Mark does not consider it a valid driver. So two good reasons basically to stick to 21.5.2 or earlier. Whatever you do, don't don't make the mistake I've made a few times on this benching journey of clicking factory reset in the driver, because DDU and then just a non-factory reset install will be good enough. Factory reset, that driver install tends to hang itself a lot, I find. It appears we're almost done with the install because it's starting to black screen. One second remaining. Okay, so restart, apply CPU clocks, and then happy days. I haven't heard about this memory mesh. Is this on the same socket the 28 core was on? Yeah, I'll have to read up on that. First I hear of it. But what socket is it on? Is it on that like LGA 3067 or 3648? Something like that. Like it's 3000 plus pins. Nobody knows yet. Okay, so it's vaporware. So it may never come out, basically. Okay, I'm just going to go down one BCLK. It shouldn't hurt the score too much, but it might give me more stability. Total vaporware then. Don't let me forget to turn off FreeSync, turn off in-game overlay, turn off frame pacing, enable crossfire at the very, very least. Disable update checks, disable advertising, disable toast notification. Who said benching wasn't fun, eh? Okay. I'll do a stock clocks run with all the driver tweaks applied, basically. And all that jazz. Oh, I have to re-disable ULPS as well. Oh, this is real fun. Okay, clear notifications. Disable overlay, disable upgrade advisor, disable ads, toast notifications. Global advanced. Enable crossfire, disable frame pacing. Under global display, disable FreeSync. It's saying not supported, but I don't know, guys. Default mode. Okay, so a driver is fine. Let's do full screen render. I hate how long it takes to switch GPUs in GPU-Z. Okay, let's do power limit. Disable ULPS. Reboot. The Tachyon should handle quad Hawaii fine. Basically, on the new generations of Intel, the issues with older cards are mostly about SLI or crossfire setups, and the secondary card dropping down to PCI Express 1.0 with the compatibility mode enabled. So roughly, I think the cutoff is probably about Maxwell, like 900 series. I think 780 Ti for sure needs compatibility mode, so there you'll have trouble. But something like a 1080 Ti, I think still SLI is fine. Yeah, but things like three-way 290X with, for argument's sake, 295X2 in the bottom slot would potentially work okay. But if it's in tops, because it's got a PLX chip on it, basically. So if if the device that the motherboard is addressing is a PLX chip, then you get whatever PCI generation the motherboard can provide, and the card can sort of provide, you know, in combination, if you know what I mean. If the device you're communicating with is not a PLX chip, you'll only get PCI Express 1.0, 16x, or 8x, depending on how many lanes are actually assigned. So that's also one of the reasons why the current 3D Mark 01 two-way record is no longer on a 580, it's on a 590, because you're addressing a PLX chip. Okay, let's do a run, eh? Raptor Lake S. I mean, I think they should try to stick with the old socket. I mean, it's so outrageously expensive anyway, does it really make a difference? But I think hex channel DDR4 would do for it. I don't know. I don't really know much about HETT. The only thing benching wise that those platforms are good for anyway is Time Spy Extreme as it stands, because that CPU test sort of scales infinitely with threads, or we haven't discovered the thread limit yet, whereas most physics tests in 3D Marks are limited to, you know, 8 threads, 16 threads, whatever. 06 being a notable example. It's 1 thread per physical core. That's why Alder and Raptor do so well with hyperthreading off and E-cores on. It's 64, but I mean, considering how badly these tests run on hyper-threaded CPUs, 64 is a shit ton, because, I mean, the only thing that has 64 right now is non-hyper-threaded. Like 64 actual threads would be Threadripper, whatever the latest Threadripper is, right? So on 34, I mean, Raptor Lake has per CPU hyperthreading disabled, right? So you'd be at 68 with everything enabled. You would then disable hyperthreading on 4 of the cores, and you'd still be pretty happy. Seems to be passing, so I should jack up the clocks and do a full run. Yeah, I mean, HEDT has been pushed out of existence, right? It's a little bit like low-end digital cameras. Smartphones have become so good that that segment doesn't really exist anymore. Similar thing with HEDT. I mean, obviously servers to CPUs still have a place, and you know, especially multi-socketed server setups. But HEDT is just like, well, just run an overclocked like 1390K or whatever. That'll do. 24 cores, 32 threads. 22.5 is actually pretty nice for stock clocks. So now let's do our usual. And do a full run, and hopefully no PSU disable this time around, whatever that was, some sort of weird OCP or something. Just gonna double check those cables. Probably shouldn't be standing so close to them in case I get yet another PSU failure. I haven't had an explosive one yet though, touch wood. Ooh, those FPS. Looking okay, I suppose. Look, Intel have a history of releasing products that make no sense just to keep the performance crown or whatever. Sort of a little bit like Nvidia. They'll just knock out a TI, just a little increment here and there just to keep everything sort of ranked the way they want it to be ranked. And wouldn't surprise me if, you know, Intel did something similar. Surely X299 at this point. I mean, yeah, lanes. Lanes is the big thing, right? Lanes is what we need. Lanes what would keep. I mean, lanes are what kept people on X79 and X99 for longer than maybe they would have. Ooh, 150 FPS. What the fuck is going on here? Okay, please complete. Please valid. Same spot. Same goddamn spot. Shit. Wow. I'm gonna put the 1050 watt on the card and the other PSE on the CPU. This is crazy. Seeing some strange noise, hearing some strange noises. Okay, boot. Make sure OS is okay. Reapply clocks. Well, reboot. Reapply CPU clocks. Weird. I have an X299 dock I'm probably trying to get rid of at some point. I don't know. It's a sort of platform. You'll regret it when you sell it, but you never really bench it because you just choose through LN2 and it's so hard to use and stuff. Okay. Hello, bias. Fuck. I've never successfully found the in-OS configuration utility for that 1500 AX 1500i that then lets you turn off OCP or raise OCP, because OCP on those, like, for the 1050 and the 1200 have better OCP behavior than 1500 by a lot. And it used to be my main benching PSU, and I'm convinced that held back a lot of my LN2 benching because it just has such insanely low OCP. Okay, is this gonna work now? It's just ambient benching. I have nothing but the card on that one PSU now. Let's just go. Those FPS in GT2 were amazing. Just wanna finish a run, and then I can die happy. Okay, just one last little look at the driver. There's globals. It's weird how it flips between thinking FreeSync is supported and thinking it isn't. Here is okay. Well, for me specifically, this house is quite an old. I mean, I think when this is a rental, and I think when it was built, they really skimped on grounding and things for the electricity. A lot of the sockets are all on the same trip switch. The power quality in general is just poor. I always fight with having like hums in my speakers and things like that, and I think another offshoot, like another consequence of all that, is that I chew through PSUs and now I get fails. Shit. Okay, are we just running insanely faster than we've been, and that's why it's now tougher to pass shit? Okay, let's try 25 less everywhere. If we're really seeing those gains that I think that we're seeing, we should still have a better score at the end of the day with these clocks. "22 mobos." Feels like some sockets I have 22 mobos. Dice on X99. Yeah, X99 it's an interesting. I like it more than X299. X79, I have a dark, but, or sorry, black edition. But yeah, nah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just get a run out. We've passed the 2-hour mark. I want to go out and do other things. No offense, guys. Oops, divorced and homeless. I hope you're in a better place now. Dropping down into the 60s. Now the efficiency is gone, right? And it's not passing. What the fuck? I don't get it. Okay. Let's quickly do a stock run. Just make sure it's not anything to do with the actual system and it's just the GPU monkeying about. And I'll just do the GTs. I hate how slow the 3D Mark GUI has gotten as well. Yeah. Way ahead of you, Spit. Okay. So just some generic issue which might be solved with a reboot. This might be the last reboot I've got in me. Mother. It just keeps doing that. Okay, so let's drop down one more BCLK. Okay. And I do a stock run and then just the GTs. Everything's okay. I'll reapply the stock clocks I had previously and we'll go from there. Basically, even if I end up with a 22.8, I'll be happy at this point. Come on, system info. It's the same system you've been scanning every single launch for 2 hours now. There's no surprises. Just let me run the bench. Okay, GTs. Let's do it. Let's watch those FPSs. 60 for stock. I think, yeah, seems to be doing all right. The B650 Tai Chi is 24 plus 2 plus 1 phases. Guys. I mean, what's in the back panel IO though? That's the real question. Right? It's got one blazing M.2, two hyper M.2s. Okay, so what's that? Wi-Fi, 11 USBs, one USB-C, cut down audio, and a single Ethernet. 2.5. Yeah, not great. Okay, 22.4 stock run. Okay, so I think we had system stability issues rather than GPU stability issues. So I'm gonna actually just blast a full run, and this VBIOS has higher vmem baked in. So if I get a good pass here, I'll keep running until one crash, and then that'll be ending the stream, I think. Full run. Let's just go for it. At one point I had issues with clocks on the second card playing, but apparently that's not the case anymore. Okay, so Steel Legend Wi-Fi. What's with that weird heat sink going across? 16 phase. Riptide. Is that a new SKU? Like a new branding name? Still only one Ethernet. Are you different? Oh, so the M Riptide. Lightning. That's the really cheap ass one, isn't it? Let's watch this run. Just 120. Okay, lows in the mid 70s. I've seen better. What we'll watch the score anyway. Is it some sort of surfer lingo or something? Okay, that's the GT1 pass. So, knock on wood. Oh, what the fuck? I didn't. An error occurred. Workload produced no results. What the fuck? Okay, let's just reattempt. I don't get it. It didn't, so it wasn't even able to do like the first frame of GT2. Didn't reset clocks, did it? Just double check. Nope. Okay, so there's a lightning board as well, Pro RS. Gotta love the ITXs. So for an ITX, I think a single 2.5 gig is nice. Only one USB-C, cut down audio, Wi-Fi 6, HDMI. I'd still like to see 2 display outs even on ITX. I know I don't think a lot of people do it, but so the Tai Chi, oh no, it's back to the start. So that's the ASRoX. I'm watching the frames, don't worry. So that was all the ASRoX releases. Okay, I'm getting instability. Let's just do one run with 50 less core. So 1150. And I mean, less of everything basically. 1150 and 500. Okay, so what about the MSIs? I like their styling, I have to say. Just a single ICX option, and pretty ugly looking one at that. Any E? They're not doing any E for some reason. Okay, full run. I would. It's just so hard to know. I should be watching end frames, but I'm not really that invested in this. But maybe I should be watching end frames. B660M Riptide. So now the 1050 PSU has already spun up. It's so hard. I mean, I'm almost tempted to split the 8 pins between two PSUs, but that's not a good idea. Well, we're loading up GT2. So this is where we were seeing funny business like 150 FPS on that weird yellowish frame, like scene. Yeah, 150, 156. I don't remember seeing that earlier. That must really benefit from Crossfire or something. Now the agonizing thing will be this is a full run because I'm hoping to maybe save it. No glitches, yeah, no. So better OCP behavior on the lower wattage power supply from the same manufacturer. You heard it here first. Man, that's a slow PT. But we'll be seeing an even slower CT, so get ready, guys. Looks clean. I don't know if it looks fast though. It looks clean. CT fail? CT fail. 23.5. Okay, no promises, but I may stream pretty soon because I'll have it on too. It's been a fun ride, even though the results have been. I mean, when did I get that 23.7 result? Pre-stream, I think, or very early in the stream. But I can't complain. Nothing died. I learned a few things about my PSUs and stuff like that. But I think okay, well, one of my PCs just wanted to turn on, even though the dip switch was switched. Go away! Stop! Unplug. Okay, that'll do it. I might. It's either gonna be this or Vantage GPU test or Vantage CPU test on the Z590 Tachyon and the 10600KF for Team Cup, or it's gonna be this with cold CPU because I'm just not happy. There's just something like I think it's not so much CPU frequency that it's really lacking. I think like even 5.5 with a little bit higher hyperthreading clocks, a lot higher CPU North Bridge, and just the IMC being cold and maybe being a bit more cooperative would go a long way towards the scaling. I'm just, waiting for Harrobot to come back so I can have a little bit of a closer look at the Warp 9 scores. But yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. See ya.